2021 is over. Can you believe it? Well, you were better than last year, but not by much. But one thing, got way more movies, so I'm going to give you my top 10 of them today. I didn't even get to see 10 movies in 2020. Right, let's begin. Number 10 is The Green Knight. This movie was made by the same people I work with on Vikings. I remember when it came out, very few cinemas got the copy for it, so I had to travel to... I travelled to Lighthouse. That was the closest one to me that was playing it. Not so bad, got to bring a pint of Guinness into the cinema with me. It's so weird, when I saw the movie, this old man sitting 4 seats down from me, he jumped up at one stage. I thought, is he running over to me? Is he mad at me for drinking a pint in the cinema? He goes right past me, he bends over the seat in front of me and says, excuse me, you there, you gonna switch that phone off? Good. I'm like, okay. This movie was nothing like what I thought it would be, but actually the more I thought about it, it was a good thing, because I thought it would be filled with battles and stuff like that. No, it was a different type of movie about the hero's journey. He's actually a relation of King Arthur. I don't think they say that in the movie, but that's good. That means they trusted it to stand on its own. It had unique tone, unique setup. It told its story in a very different way that you don't really see in fantasy films. Another thing, I went for a hike in Glendalough back in April, and I noticed all the trees were gone. And then I realised they cut them down for this movie. Wow, look at that. Yeah, most of the travelling scenes, they were filmed in Glendalough. How about that? Number 9 is Last Night in Soho. I already have a review of this on the page, so I won't dwell on it too much. The movie is dripping with atmosphere. Anna Taylor-Joy, man, she is hot. Like, fucking hell. This is a movie similar to The Green Knight. First time I saw it, I enjoyed it, but I didn't love it. Second time, absolutely loved it. Because I realised it wasn't like Edgar Wright's, the way his movies normally are. They're usually funny and dramatic at the same time. This time it was just a straight up horror movie. So that made me like it way better the second time. Rest in peace, Diana Rigg. This was a great movie to end your legacy on. Bit of a strange thing about this movie. You know, I'm a big pint drinker. This year, during the summer anyway, I stopped enjoying drinking pints. I don't know what it was. But after seeing this movie, I don't know why. I think it was the atmosphere of the bar scenes where the main character worked. Don't know what it is. Ever since that, I've enjoyed drinking pints again. Strange. So number 8, The Suicide Squad. This was an insane, hard-or, balls-to-the-wall villain team-up movie. All the cast are fantastic. It was so funny. I love James Gunn. He's an absolute legend. And I said when I saw the movie that this was on a whole other level. Yeah, it was. There's so many parts that, like... So much to talk about. One thing to say, I love that rat. That rat was adorable. I wouldn't mind if he got his own movie now. I was a bit disappointed. I don't think Michael Rooker and Nathan Fillion, I think they could have been used a bit more. Aside from that, though, yeah, everyone was great and everything was great. If you didn't see The Suicide Squad, yeah, you missed out. But to think, this movie wouldn't have happened if James Gunn wasn't fired from Marvel for the resurfacing of those tweets. It's kind of a blessing in disguise. Number 7, The Many Saints of Newark. This was the Sopranos prequel. Although Tony Soprano did not need an origin story, they still told it in a very damn good way. The fact that they recreated the flashback scenes from the show with the new actors, that helped the movie to stand on its own. Yeah, I think the movie really did. You don't need to watch the show to get what's going on. The film is very well set up. That's the way it should always be. I thought it was very clever how Tony... it's his story, but he doesn't feel like the main character. Not for like the first 2/3 anyway. And I think it was intentional. Because they're just showing all the different people who've shaped him and who made him the person he was. And then at the end, it really becomes his story. He becomes the man in the forefront. It's very well done. A lot of people didn't see this movie, and it got very mixed reactions, but I have to say, I loved it. I thought it was absolutely amazing. The man who plays Tony, the young man who plays him, is actually James Gandolfini's son in real life. May he rest in peace. What an amazing actor. Da 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 da. No Time to Die is my number 6. James Bond gets the Dark Knight treatment. Yeah, I said it. Casino Royale was like Batman Begins. Quantum of Solace, or Quantum of Bollocks, that's what it should be called. Yeah, terrible follow up. Skyfall, though, for me, was the Dark Knight of James Bond movies. And this movie, I'd say Dark Knight Rises, but a lot better than Dark Knight Rises. The Spectre was good. I liked it, but it felt like it was missing something. This movie had exactly what I thought Spectre was missing. I'm glad Daniel Craig agreed to come back one last time, because this is the first Bond movie that has genuine closure. It's the first time a Bond actor knew that this was their last movie. And you know me, like, I am just a sucker for closure. Side note, my pick for the next James Bond would be Richard Madden. If you don't know who he is, look him up. In my opinion, Casino Royale and Skyfall are still the best, but this movie is up there. It's easily top 5, maybe top 6. I did a top 10 list after I saw No Time to Die. I think I put it number 6 and GoldenEye was number 5. They could easily swap around. They're just as great in my opinion. Yeah, the thing is, Pierce Brosnan is my favourite James Bond, so if I didn't have one of his movies in the top 5, would have felt kind of odd. Just two minor problems with the movie. I think the opening went on a bit too long, and Rami Malek, he's a great actor. The villain was good. I don't feel like he was one of the best Bond villains ever. But he served his purpose though. Still quite good. Yeah, everyone I know who's seen No Time to Die, they've all loved it. But most of them can agree, like, Casino Royale, Skyfall, probably still the best. Okay, we're in the top 5 now. And starting off top 5 is A Quiet Place Part 2. And this does what all the best sequels do. It builds and expands on what the first movie set up. It answers some questions and it leaves you with wanting more, but not you wanting more in the good way. You're satisfied with what you've got, but you wouldn't mind a bit more somewhere down the line. I felt like they played a lot of clever tricks with the deaf girl, the way they used the sound, very well done. It had the same amount of intensity as the first movie, the same amount of excitement. I also thought Cillian Murphy was fantastic in the movie. It's probably one of his best roles since When the Shakes the Barley, if I'm being honest. Yeah. If they make a third film, if they have a good idea for it, and if they take their time with it, we can have another amazing trilogy. It was the first movie, actually, in the cinema anyway, of 2021 that I saw, and it was a great way to start it back. Honest to God, it was so refreshing the day I saw this movie. It's just something I really missed, something I really needed, something we all needed, especially during these difficult times. Number 4 is Dune. Similar with Last Night in Soho, I already have a review for it on my page. I don't really have anything more to say, other than this movie probably would have been slightly higher. In fact, probably would have even been number 1, if not for the fact that it's not a full movie. It's only half a movie. I know I compared this to Lord of the Rings, and rightfully so, but the more I thought about it, each Lord of the Rings film, I know I've said numerous times, it's one movie split into 3 parts. Each one still feels like a full movie, though. Didn't get that with this. Not the director's fault, of course. We are getting the second movie. It hasn't started filming yet, but we are going to get it. But look, it finally has a great adaptation. We're on the road to it, okay? It's still a great time. Still loved every minute of it. And I think, yeah, that's all that matters. I wrote notes for every other movie. I did not write any notes for this movie because you've all seen it. And I couldn't talk about this movie without spoiling it. Number 3 is Spider-Man No Way Home. Seriously, like, we needed this movie. We needed something to unite us. I saw this opening night, and it was the first time I'd seen a packed cinema since Rise of Skywalker. Star Wars. Seriously, that was 2 whole years ago. Like, we needed it. It was such a good thing to have. Full spoilers ahead. When Andrew showed up, my cinema erupted with cheers. I could have cried. I was so goddamn happy, and even happier when Toby showed up. You know, like, they had to have been in the film. We knew they were going to be in it, but you know, the fact that they didn't confirm it, that they didn't tell us that they were going to be in the film. Yeah, that was wise, because in order for us to really, be grateful, we need to really, when they finally did show up, we'd be all the more thankful and all the more grateful. They're finally back. They're finally there. My dad himself said this was a fan service movie, but in the good way. It felt earned. It wasn't just there for the sake of being there. It had a purpose behind it. It was also cool to see all the old villains again. Alfred Molina and Willem Dafoe as the Green Goblin. He was basically the main villain when you think about it. I was really surprised about that. Jamie Foxx as Electro, he was way better than he was the last time. Rhys Ifans as the Lizard, he was basically the comic relief. And there was also Thomas Hayden Church as the Sandman. Those last two didn't actually film any scenes for this movie. I don't think they were available. I think they must have got the virus, or maybe they grew too old, but they had to look the same age. I noticed that the few times they're in their human form, it was recycled footage from their older movies. Did it bother me? Absolutely not. Just thought it was something worth pointing out. Oh yeah, it was also cool to see Daredevil again. Didn't expect Aunt May to die. Yeah, Aunt May basically became Uncle Ben, It was her death that inspired him. It was her death that makes him realise the whole great power becomes great responsibility thing. Didn't see that coming, It is the third reboot in under 20 years, so you gotta do some things different. In Spider-Man No Way Home, it just rocked. It's an absolute blast. My top two, I was back and forth. Which did I think was better? Which was the better one? I decided to go with this way. Number two is The Last Duel, the new Ridley Scott movie. That is also the movie that trapped Matt Damon in Ireland during the first lockdown. He was trapped there for so long, they named a cocktail after him. It's called the Porn Star Martini. I had it. It's basically just a regular Porn Star Martini with a different name. Anyway, The Last Duel was old school. Regrettably, I couldn't see this movie in the cinema. Do you know why I couldn't see it in the cinema? Because every single cinema I went to wasn't playing it. They had the poster on the front, so when I went in, I was like, "Hi, are you playing The Last Duel? I don't see it on your listings." Or like, they either said, "No, we didn't get the copy," or "Oh, we stopped playing it because no one was seeing it." For the record, if you work in a cinema and if you don't have the movie, could you take the poster down? So I watched it on Disney Plus, but don't worry, if I couldn't go to the cinema, you can bet I brought the cinema to me. I watched it in the dark, no lights on, got my own popcorn bucket, had the chocolate, had the drink. It's a great experience. Just old school, bloody and brutal. I know a lot of people who worked on it as well. It's incredible. It was very similar to The Green Knight. Both of them were filmed in Ireland. It's crazy. Like the way the story was told, it was told in like a very unique way, a way that we're not used to. I'd describe it to you, but I really do want you to see the movie for yourself, because I know so many people haven't. You really should. You're just robbing yourself of a great experience by not watching it. Ben Affleck was great in the movie. It was different from the role he normally plays. Matt Damon, fantastic as always. This was the first film they collaborated with since Good Will Hunting, which is one of my favourite movies. I just want to say, Adam Driver in this movie, he was hot. Like, I'm straight, but he was hot. I know he's playing a rapist, and I kind of feel bad for saying that, but I can't help how I feel. That's another thing too, like, it's a touchy topic of rape, and back then, basically, the woman, she just wanted justice. She just wanted justice for what happened to her, and it was basically used as entertainment. That's the title of the movie, The Last Duel, Matt Damon versus Adam Driver. That's what they're fighting for. I just thought it was very well done. It's intense, but you know what? That's what war is. War is intense. Like I said, it's on Disney Plus, so watch it. And by the way, you don't have to pay for it. Providing you're already a subscriber to Disney Plus, yeah, the movie's there, and yeah, you can watch it. But try watch it in like the best quality possible. Try like what I just said, in the dark, no lights on, get the popcorn, make yourself feel like you're at the cinema. Just do something, Okay, I'm probably gonna piss off a lot of people. Not piss them off, but I'm probably gonna confuse a lot of people. Like, that's your number one, really? I was like, yeah. The more I thought about it, this is my favourite movie of the year, because I watched it so many times. I have loved it more and more every time I've watched it. It's Zack Snyder's Justice League. Yeah. 4 hours of pure awesomeness. It could have went on for another 4 hours. I would have been happy. Mate, the thing is, like, I'm not a positive person, and we are living in, like, the worst time ever. I hate to say that the movie has, like, given me hope for the future, but it's given me hope. Because I gave up hope that this was going to happen. I was like, I was just thinking, like, how could there be a Snyder Cut? How could we ever get his true version? The only way that could happen is if Zack Snyder goes back, sets everything up, if they give him a budget, if the actors actually come back and film those scenes. That's the only way this can happen. And it fucking happened. I know I've said that it's best for them to still, give everything a fresh start. But that being said, if they decided to go through with rebuilding the Snyderverse, don't think I'd be against it now. Definitely would not be. Every single member of the league served a purpose. Every single one had a story arc, was well developed. And that was just it. Like, it allowed... There was great world building in the movie. Everything felt earned. All the characters were well introduced. And all the storylines came together so well. Just amazing. And I still cannot believe they had a scene of the Flash using all his power. Steppenwolf wins. Darkseid is on his way to Earth with his armies. The battle for the universe is about to begin. But the Flash uses his power to reverse back time, giving them a second chance, saving the world and the League. That was his contribution in the third act. His contribution in the cut that we got a few years ago was him jump-starting a car. That's another thing too. They had enough footage the whole time. They lied to us when they said there wasn't enough footage. They were actually going to just shelve it and not do anything with it. Absolute scumbags, a lot of them. But you know what? We got it. And you know what? It was worth waiting for. We might not have got a scene of Superman saving a cat out of a tree or making a big speech, something like that. It would have been cool to see. What we did get, though, was an awesome scene where after he's resurrected, after he's regained all his memories, he returns to the Kryptonian ship to get his new suit. And as he's getting the suit, he's replaying in his head all the wise things his Earth father said to him and his Krypton father said to him. Listen to your Robin Hood fathers, Superman. They know best. Subtly, it's turning into what they would say if they were still alive. Yeah, I got goosebumps watching that scene. Honest to God. I also meant what I said. Like, Zack Snyder is that person. He has that type of style. You love it or you hate it. But I feel like for this movie, I feel like he actually listens to a lot of his criticisms. Because there's a lot more humour in this movie. And it's good humour. It's not cheesy humour. It's pretty credible. And I devoted a whole post to the scene where Martian Manhunter visits Batman. Yeah, because I realised the purpose of that scene wasn't Martian Manhunter makes his first appearance. The purpose of it was Batman gets genuine closure to his story. I'm still disappointed we're not getting Ben Affleck's solo film. But you know what? For that scene, that's not so bad. And also, we're seeing him again in the Flash movie. And it looks like we're getting a cool new Batman movie 2 months from now. So, yeah, can't be too miserable. Guys, I never thought we'd get here, but we got here. We finally got the true Justice League we deserved.